Picture this. You step into your backyard, and instead of just regular bushes, you're surrounded by a lush, green orchard, plucking delicious, exotic fruits right off the vine. Sounds like an absolute dream, right? Well, welcome. Today we're diving into an awesome explainer on how to grow kiwi, or, if we want to get scientific, actinidia, right here in Bulgaria. Intrigued? Let's embark on this fruitful journey together.
So the very first question that's probably popping into your head is, can a fruit we all associate with warm tropical beaches actually survive in freezing Bulgarian snow? Well, it's time to bust a major myth. Kiwi is absolutely not strictly a warm weather crop that needs year-round heat. The secret? It all comes down to picking the exact right variety.
Okay, let's dive into this comparison. On one side, we've got your classic fuzzy kiwi, Actinidia deliciosa. It's big, it's fuzzy, and yeah, it does need warmth. It taps out at around minus 12 degrees Celsius. But on the flip side, we have a cold climate gardener's secret weapon, Actinidia arguta, or the hardy mini kiwi. This one has smooth skin, it's incredibly frost resistant, and get this, it can actually survive down to minus 25 degrees, so winter survival is completely possible.
We've got a great roadmap for you today. We'll start by picking the right cultivar, figure out the best growing regions, and go over prep and planting. Then, we'll look at building support structures, pollination, pruning, and finally, the best part, the harvest and all those amazing health benefits.
All right, let's jump straight into choosing the right variety and exploring the amazing diversity of the Actinidia family. Meet the main characters of our story. For the classic Deliciosa kiwi, popular picks are Hayward, Jenny, and Boskope. But if you're living in a colder spot, you'll want to check out the mini kiwi, Arguta, varieties like Isai, Ken's Red, or the Polish Sacher Pache. And honestly, what's truly mind-blowing is the third group, Actinidia kolomocta. Varieties like Sentiabriskaya and Dr. Szymanowski are absolute champions of cold resistance. I mean, they can literally survive temperatures plummeting down to minus 40 degrees Celsius. No way, right?
Moving right along, let's talk geography. Where exactly should you be planting these?
Your local climate basically dictates your choice. If you're on the Black Sea coast, you are in luck. You've got high humidity and mild winters, perfect for almost anything, including the big fuzzy kiwis. Southern Bulgaria is also pretty great, but if you're in the frost hollows of Sofia or up in northern Bulgaria, a classic Deliciosa will just freeze. You've got to stick with the Arguta or Kolomocta mini kiwis. And if you're up in the mountains, Kolomocta is hands down your only safe bet.
Okay, let's move to and see how this builds from the ground up, literally. It's time for preparation and planting.
Planting is actually a breeze if you follow these steps. First, dig a hole that's 40 by 40 by 40 centimeters. The soil has to be well-drained and light, no heavy limestone. Then, mix in some rotted manure and superphosphate to give it a flying start. Now, when you put the plant in, make sure it sits at the exact same depth it was in its nursery pot. Water it heavily, and then, even though it might break your heart a little, prune that stem down to about 50 centimeters to trigger really explosive growth.
Now listen closely, because this is absolutely crucial. Always plant your kiwis in the spring. Young plants are extremely vulnerable. If you try putting them in the ground in the fall, they just won't have time to adapt, and the winter cold will almost certainly kill them. So definitely don't make that fatal gardening mistake. Up next, we're tackling the framework, building the support structure, and understanding pollination.
So, kiwi is an incredibly powerful vine. A single plant can shoot up 20 feet in just one season. Because of that, you need a seriously strong structure. You can go with a T-bar trellis, running wires at 0.8, 1.3, and 1.8 meters high, or you can build a classic pergola. Just make sure to give each plant about 10 to 12 square meters of space. The most important thing? Build this structure in the very first year, because this plant is not going to wait for you.
So, the crucial point here is pollination. Most kiwi plants are dioecious, which is just a fancy way of saying there are separate male and female plants. To actually get fruit, those female flowers need pollen. The golden rule? Plant one male vine for every 7 to 8 females. Unless you bought a rare self-pollinating variety like Jenny or Isai, skipping the male plant means you'll have a gorgeous green vine, but absolutely zero fruit. Let's transition into how to maintain that harvest with year-round pruning and care.
Taking care of your kiwi vine really breaks down into two main seasons. Winter pruning happens in March, and this is where you build the main skeleton of the plant by cutting it back. But summer pruning in May and June is just as vital. This is when you thin out the weak shoots that are just draining energy, and you shorten the fruiting branches to about 10 or 12 leaves. This forces the plant to channel all its energy straight into making big, juicy kiwis.
And speaking of summer, you cannot forget about water. Kiwi leaves are massive, so the plant is constantly thirsty. Summer care demands a ton of watering, but here's the catch. If you have heavy clay soil that traps water, all that moisture will literally suffocate the roots and cause root rot. That's why having well-drained soil is an absolute lifesaver for this plant during the hot months.
Finally, we've made it to the best part, the harvest and all the amazing benefits, the delicious reward.
Now, what's really interesting about this next stat is just how massive the payoff can be. With the right care and a sturdy structure, just one single healthy kiwi vine can produce up to 100 kilograms of fruit in a single year. I mean, just imagine, a mountain of kiwis sitting right there in your backyard.
And this fruit is a literal superfood. It is packed with an exceptionally high amount of vitamin C, sometimes up to 400 milligrams. If you grow the mini Arguta kiwis, it gets even better because you can just pop them in your mouth whole, skin and all, no peeling required. You harvest them in late autumn, and a light frost actually makes them taste sweeter. But the absolute best part for a home gardener? Kiwi has incredible pest resistance, meaning you can grow a completely clean, organic crop with zero chemical spraying.
So now that we've seen how entirely possible and incredibly rewarding it is to grow this tropical vine, I've got a question for you. Which kiwi variety are you planning to plant in your own garden? The choice is yours. Just remember, this explainer gives you the general roadmap, so definitely chat with a local agricultural expert to fine-tune things for your specific microclimate. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and here's to a massive, delicious harvest.